What's popping out there, world? And welcome to another edition of TJ Sports Nation Network, presented by your boy TJ, straight out of KC. Just jumping on real quick. Sorry I missed y'all last week. Got tired of working. But we back. What is the deal? What is the deal, man? We are 1 week away. 1 week away from a huge showdown. A huge showdown, man. We are 1 week away from Charlo Canelo. Yes, 1 week away from Charlo Canelo. This is gonna be interesting right here, man. A hell of a fight with Charlo going up about 14 pounds. What's popping with it, Dre? How you doing, family? Going up about 14 pounds against arguably, in some people's eyes, the greatest boxer to ever live in Canelo Alvarez. This is interesting, man. Like this is gonna be a hell of a fight right here, man. And even though Canelo has an advantage, only because he's fought at the weight of 160. Charlo walks around at that weight. Charlo's heavier than that. And I think, even though I'm edging it towards Canelo, I think Charlo got a puncher's chance. I really do. I give Charlo a puncher's chance. I feel like this is the perfect situation right here for Charlo to show what he's about. To go all the way up to 168 and dethrone Canelo, because Canelo can be thrown. He can be dethroned. Let's not put on the front like we ain't seen Canelo against purified boxers absolutely get his ass kicked. Like my boy Bivol, prime example. Who's to say Charlo can't go in there and fight Canelo like he did against Tony Harrison the second time, where he just flat out demolished him? You feeling me? We've seen Canelo hurt. We've seen Canelo get outboxed and completely dominated. So who's to say that the smaller Charlo, Jermell, can't do the same thing? I want to believe that he can. I want to believe that he can until proven otherwise. See, I think Canelo took this fight because he sees a bona fide opportunity of, I'm 14 pounds heavier than this guy typically when I fight. I'm 2 weight classes above him. He's never fought at this weight. So he's got to adapt to the speed, and the punch has been a lot heavier at that weight. He doesn't believe that Charlo, the small one, can adjust at the weight of 168. That's why he took the fight. He had opportunities to fight Maul Charlo a long time ago, but he know Maul poses a threat, an even bigger threat, because he's fought at heavier weights, obviously, right? This is going to be an explosive fight. It really is. I could see it being a back and forth chess matchup. And that's the truth. And I believe that the smarter fighter that figures their opponent out first will win this fight. I believe the smarter opponent that figures their opponent out first will win this fight. That's the truth. That's the truth, man. See, you have to look at it from every perspective walking into this fight. Charlo has the skill set. He has the defense. He's got the jab. You know what I'm saying? He's got the boxing IQ. Canelo has the better resume, obviously. You know, he's been in the bigger fights. But Charlo and his brother said years ago they see something in Canelo. They see something in him. Question is, do they see enough to where little brother can expose Canelo? Can little brother expose Canelo? That's the question. That's the question that needs an answer right there. I think he can. I think if he's smart and he take away what Canelo's good at, because mind you, you know, Canelo, he's slowly losing it. He's not what he used to be. He's just not. You know, and I think that beat down that Bivol gave him really exposed him because I'm not gonna give him credit for that third Triple G fight because Triple G is a shell of himself. He looked like Grandpa Triple G out there. And Canelo still couldn't get him out of there like he should have. That hard head Pakistani was just a little bit too much. Yeah, Canelo beat him up, but he couldn't get him out of it. But if you watch them knees and that footwork of Canelo's, man, it ain't the same. It ain't the same at all. Canelo still got that power. He still got that thump. But everything else, he's slowly losing it, man. Dude been fighting forever, man. Since he was, what? I think he turned pro at 13 or 14. He was pretty young. Having a big fight with Floyd Mayweather at the beginning of his career. What was he, 9 or 10-0 or something when he fought Floyd? I'd have to relook, but it was really early in his career to get that big fight, that big payday that quick. And he totally got washed from the start to the finish. You feeling me? This is going to be a slugfest. And I think it's going to be a slugfest that's going to come down to the wire. I don't necessarily see anybody get stopped. I think whoever wins this fight wins it because they can flat out outbox the other person. You know, you're not going to knock Canelo out. And I think Charlo got a little bit more dog in him to get knocked out by Canelo. That's just me. You know, I think Charlo hungry for this one, man. I think Charlo see an opportunity to do something special. So why not get it done? It's a huge payday that's gonna feed the hell out of his family. Why not get it done and get Canelo on up out of there? I think he can do it. Like I said, I'm leaning slightly towards Canelo just because of the experience at that weight class. But but that's not to say if Charlo figures him out and figures him out early, Charlo can win this fight. Nothing is impossible. Charlo can win this fight. Please don't doubt him. I'm begging you. Please don't doubt him. At the end of the day, should be a good matchup. I look forward to it next week, next weekend, next Saturday, July 30th. Should be dope. See, it's a lot of Bears fans down here. We got the Bears coming in town tomorrow to play my Kansas City Chiefs, and they suck. Bears are absolutely horrible. So hopefully they don't find a mojo against us. But anyways, let's move on. Let's get back onto this Shakur Stevenson shit, man. Like Shakur Stevenson, Frank Martin did not fall through. Frank Martin declining the supposed offer that was sent by Shakur Stevenson. So Shakur Stevenson moved on to a guy named Edwin De Los Santos. He moved on to Edwin De Los Santos. Now Edwin, he doesn't have a bad record, but if you've seen him here lately, the dude is looks like he's overweight. Yeah, he's overweight. You know, um, I thought it was funny that one day in the same week it comes out that Frank Martin didn't take the fight for Shakur Stevenson, and then like 3 days later, Shakur Stevenson is in this fight against De Los Santos. I just, I've always been iffy about Shakur Stevenson. At the end of the day, when I watched that tape of him and Devin Haney sparring, Devin was punishing him. Now Shakur claimed that wasn't the whole tape. He claimed that was Devin's parts. This is what he's saying. But I'm just not quite sold on Shakur Stevenson yet. I'm just not. I'm just not. Now I got no faith in this Edwin Santos dude. He looked good in his last fight, but I just don't trust him against Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson fights a lot of no name cats. Jarrell Heron and uh uh that other cat, he'll come back to me. His ex-girlfriend's brother, that well yeah, he used to mess with her or whatnot. Other than that, Shakur, he's still growing on me, man. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. The dude is an excellent fighter, but he's still growing on me. I mean, he's got Oscar Valdez, Joet Gonzalez. Yeah, Joet Gonzalez a few years back when he used to talk to Joet's sister. You know what I'm saying? But I want to see more. I want to see more, man. Like I want to see Shakur in there with more dogs. Now Shakur say he's been trying to make these big fights with the Haneys and the Tanks and Frank Martins and I even heard of a couple more names going around that he wants to make big fights with, and nobody wants to fight him. And that could be true. That could be true. So I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. But anybody make these fights happen, man. I just want Shakur to prove himself a little bit more. The Edwin Santoses and all those guys, man, we gotta go harder than that, man. We gotta go a little bit harder than that, man. I would have loved to see the matchup with him and Frank Martin. I would have actually edged Shakur Stevenson a little bit in that fight because Frank ain't really had no big fights like that either. And there's a possibility Frank could have turned that money down because Frank felt like he wasn't ready for Shakur. Most fighters ain't gonna admit that, but Frank could have very easily turned that fight down because he felt like he wasn't ready for him. I can see that. I can see that. I really can. I can see that a whole lot. Real shit. And that's okay. If Frank feel like he need 2 or 3 more fights up under him before he take on, a household name like Shakur Stevenson, then that's the smart thing to do. So I'll check out Shakur Stevenson against this Santos cat, but I'm not impressed with that matchup. So Shakur gonna have to go a little bit harder than that. Last but not least, y'all, you know what I'm saying? And I'll be back on Tuesday with more. Spence versus Crawford. They working out the rematch. Terrence says the fight is going to be at 147 unless Earl puts in writing that he can no longer make the weight and the fight needs to be at 154. Now, Crawford's going to honor the rematch because he's contractually obligated to do so. but the fight needs to be at 154. Earl can Earl if Earl takes that fight at 147 and he makes the weight again and he gets washed again, then that's just gonna mean Terrence is just completely the better fighter, and we can't use the excuse as Earl sexuals as they call us by saying that Earl was weight drained. Earl needs to make sure that fight happens at 154. I think he has a better chance, puts on a better performance at 154, and could possibly pull off the upset, pull off the shocker that nobody thinks. They all feel like everybody on Terrence's side feels like it's a waste of time. Steven Nelson, who's in Crawford's, camp, in Crawford's camp, says it's a complete waste of time. They want to look past it and see what happens with this whole Canelo Charlo fight. And if Terrence Crawford can move up to 168 pounds and challenge Canelo. That's what they want. They don't want to waste their time. They looking past Earl. Earl want his get back. Earl was completely demolished and embarrassed in front of his kids, his old lady, and his family. You think Earl just want to let that slide? Give him his rematch. If Terrence wash him out again, he wash him out again. But give him his rematch at a more comfortable weight that he don't have to struggle to try to make. That is what you do. Give him his rematch. I respect Crawford. He earned my respect. The way he punished my guy all day. And he did that. I ain't taking nothing away from Terrence at all. Terrence did exactly what he was supposed to do. But at the end of the day, honor the contract that y'all signed. Give him the second fight. And Earl better get that shit in writing. If he know he has trouble, I'm begging Earl. I'm begging Earl with everything in me, brother. Please do not take that rematch at 147. He will get washed out again. 154, I'm not saying he gonna win. I hope he win, but I know how difficult it is. Terrence Crawford is a purified fighter. Now, if for whatever reason they make the rematch at 154, and Earl still, he fight a better fight, but he still come up short. Still respect him for taking the rematch at a bigger weight. That just means that Crawford is just more skillful and just a better fighter. That's all that means. All this is gonna be determined. All this. So Earl needs to take the rematch at 154, a more comfortable weight, and let's see if we get a more competitive fight, so he can shut cats like Steven Nelson up, Bomac, and all them cats. You know what I'm saying? Now, with Bomac still being in jail over there in the UK, I wonder will that affect Terrence training? Terrence is in camp right now. This rematch is supposed to go down in December. That's what I'm hearing. And Earl really don't need to take it at 147 in a quick turnaround like that. Is he even cleared to fight yet? I don't know. We're gonna look into this. I'm rather surprised that they shooting for December. I think that's kind of crazy a little bit. I was saying March or April of 24, but I guess, he better not take that fight at 147, or he's gonna get washed all over again. And I don't want to see another beatdown like that. I want my guy to get his get back, but you got to be smart about it. He took a pretty bad beating, man. He took a really, really bad beat. He really did. He was stopped. Come on, man. He was stopped. We've never seen that. We've never seen Earl hit the ground at all, let alone 3 times, and then stopped in front of his kids, in front of his beautiful old lady, his parents, Derek James, one of the dopest trainers ever. Earl wants his get back, but he need to be smart and make sure he take that rematch at 154. Anyways, that is all I wanted to rap about today. I will be back on Tuesday as we get closer and closer to Charlo Canelo. Much love, y'all. Be safe.